I just set this off. You heard Deontay Wilder sit right there and say, I want Anthony Joshua. The question is, does he really want me? Do you really want Deontay Wilder?
I think it's simple. When I've listened to what he's been saying, that there does need to be one champion and one face. And we've both got an opportunity where I have no mandatories, he has no obligations. I'm more than willing to fight Deontay Wilder April 13th in my backyard this time in Wembley Arena, you know, in front of 100,000 audience. So I'm very keen to make that fight, but no fantasy contracts, just reality. You know, bringing our worth to the table and bargaining and negotiating what we're worth and making this fight happen.
Okay, I'll take 50 million up front. If that's the case, Wilder's team, bring me 50 million up front and we'll take the fight.
So, what's the more realistic?
Yeah, I've just agreed.
Okay.
I've just agreed.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. It's not hard. It's as simple as that. Like, deals get done, fights get made, and entertainment happens next. That's all we're waiting for. It's all we're waiting for.
Was it a flat fee that your team's offered them? Or can you not comment on that?
I'd rather not, because it's not professional, bro. It's not professional at all.
It's the first time that I've really had issues on the financial side with a fighter. So let's say, for instance, that 50 million we spoke about. Listen, it's a hell of a lot of money, and it was an honour to even have that number thrown at me. But then when you dissected it and what it was just kind of like a rights fee. We own you for this amount of money. But the issue that I had is I've got long-standing contracts in places with certain partnerships. So you may put that money forward and think you can own me 100%, but you may only own 50%. So that makes their 50 worth 25. So when you start getting into the intricacies of a contract and what the real value is, then that starts taking place. So that's what I'm saying. The 50 was unbelievable. It's a great number and so on. But there are things in place that don't make that 50 worth the 50.
I understand them saying, just let us know, do you accept it or not? I don't know, because I don't know what it entails. I don't know how it crosses over our existing rights of Anthony Joshua for worldwide TV contracts. I don't know how they intend to pay the money. I don't know where they intend to stage the fight. These are all things that have to be considered before accepting a deal. So the answer is, if you are asked now, do we accept the deal? No. You've got to think about, like, look at Deontay Wilder. He got $3 million to defend his title.
He offered Joshua 50 million. Joshua didn't take
bullshit. He sent an email personally.
Listen, I've been out in America, and I know from real source that
when asked for a contract, they don't send it. So what are you supposed to do? But anyway, that's irrelevant. What I'm saying to you is that he got $3 million to fight Ortiz. Defend his WBC World title.
I've seen that the money was there.
What, you saw it? What, piled up?
No, not piled up.
Mate, I'm telling you,
come on,
we never got to whether the money was there. We just asked for a contract. Listen, you see from Wilder's comments today, he ain't fucked. He ain't bothered. I've got 2 years till I've got to fight Joshua.
Espinosa said the door was there.
In an interview I did with Eddie Hearn recently, he said, you know, about his words, it's bollocks, talking about Shelley Finkel's offer, because they know that AJ's contracted, obviously, to fight on Sky Sports.
Well, what happens if a fight goes to purse bids and somebody wins the purse bid?
Good question.
What happens then? What's he going to do? Vacate the titles? You know, no one said it shouldn't go on Sky Sports. They were buying the rights. They may well have sold it to Sky Sports. But you can't have it always. You can't say, first of all, they didn't have an offer. Now they're saying they've got an offer, but they can't take the offer because he's due to fight on Sky Sports. That's a big shift. I mean, his dad, and you was with him a couple of weeks ago, weren't you, when he was fishing? He said he doesn't even want the fight. He don't care if it happens for 2 years. In fact, he don't care if he ever fights him for 10 years. And I know what's going on there. I know Barry Hearn. Barry Hearn did the same thing with Chris Eubanks years ago. That's where Barry Hearn's head is. You know why? He's an accountant. Of course he's got in his head, Anthony Joshua fights, sells 70,000, 80,000 tickets if he's fighting, anybody. Could be anybody in the world. He thinks they're going to generate that. What do they want to risk that for? Fighting a live guy. Of course they've done. That's their mentality. I get that. Barry Hearn knows that. I'm sure at the end of the day he's told his boy that's what the position is. Barry, out of his own mouth, said, I do not want him to fight Wilder. I don't care if he doesn't fight Wilder. All we care about is making him rich. So that's the bottom line. All they keep doing with that, keep changing their story. The story is they would offered $50 million for the fight. They kept all the rights, the Americans, and $30 million rematch if he lost. That was what the deal was. That was the deal. 1,000,000%, that was the deal. And then forget about what his contracts are with other stations and that. He said, Anthony Joshua, I'll fight Wilder for $50 million. That's what he said, and they offered the $50 million in writing. And Al Heyman, that was the other thing, that we want proof of funds. Where's the money? See what Al Heyman's just announced the deal he's announced? It's the richest deal in boxing he's just announced. The money coming in. This is Al Heyman, who can't afford, all they're saying, can he afford to pay this money? I mean, come on now. Pathetic. Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage. That fight's on. It will go on this year. We'll be announcing it when we want to announce it, not when Eddie Hearn wants to announce it. The fight is on. Eddie Hearn said, we're negotiating to fight Wilder. I told you months before that it will never happen. I told you on record he'll fight Povetkin. Is that right?
Is that right? You said that in an interview.
Categorically said that a long time before. I said, forget all this talk. He's going to fight Povetkin. I knew that. Everyone in the business knew it. They don't want to fight Wilder. End of story.